Hello everybody, nice to meet you. Our reading of the book Exodus chapter 7. Let's read it together. Then the Lord said to Moses, See, I have made you like a God to Pharaoh, and your father Aaron will be your prophet. You are to say everything I command you. And your father Aaron is to tell Pharaoh to let the Israelites go out of his country. But I will harden Pharaoh's heart, and though I multiply my miracle signs and wonders in Egypt, he will not listen to you. Then I will lay my hands on Egypt, and with mighty acts of judgment, I will bring out my divisions, my people, the Israelites. And the Egyptians will know that I am the Lord, when I stretch out my hands against Egypt, and bring the Israelites out of it. Moses and Aaron did just as the Lord commanded them. Moses was 80 years old, and Aaron 83 when they spoke to Pharaoh. The Lord said to Moses and Aaron, When Pharaoh says to you, perform miracles, then say to Aaron, Take your staff and throw it down before Pharaoh, and it will become a snake. So Moses and Aaron went to Pharaoh and did just as the Lord commanded. Aaron threw his staff down in front of Pharaoh and his officials, and it became a snake. Pharaoh then summoned the wise men and sorcerers, and the Egyptians' magicians also did the same thing by their secret acts. Each one threw down his staff, and it became a snake. But Aaron's staff swallowed up their staffs. Yet Pharaoh's heart became hard, and he would not listen to them, just as the Lord he said. Then the Lord said to Moses, Pharaoh's heart is unyielding. He refused to let the people go. Go to Pharaoh in the morning as he goes out to the water. Wait on the bank of the Nile to meet him, and take in your hand the staff that was changing into a snake. Then say to him, the Lord, the God of the Hebrews, has sent me to say to you, Let my people go so that they may worship me in the desert. But until now you have not listened. This is what the Lord says. By this you will know that I am the Lord. With the staff that is in my hand, I will strike the water of the Nile, and it will change into blood. The fish in the Nile will die, and the river will stink. The Egyptians will not be able to drink its water. The Lord said to Moses, Tell Aaron, take your staff and stretch out your hand over the waters of Egypt, over the streams and canals, over the ponds and old reservoirs, and they will turn to blood. Blood will be everywhere in Egypt, even in the wooden buckets and stone jars. Moses and Aaron did just as the Lord had commanded. He raised his staff in the presence of Pharaoh and his officials and struck the water of the Nile, and all the water was changed into blood. The fish in the Nile died, and river smelled so bad the Egyptians could not drink its water. Blood was everywhere in Egypt. But the Egyptian magicians did the same things, but their secret acts, and Pharaoh's heart became hard. He would not listen to Moses and Aaron, just as the Lord had said. Instead, he turned and went to meet his fellows, and did not take even this to heart. And all the Egyptians dug along the Nile to get drinking water, because they could not drink the water of the river. 7 days passed after the Lord struck the Nile. Exodus chapter 7, verses 1 through 25. Thank you. Hello everybody, nice to meet you. I'll read the book Exodus chapter 8. Let's read it together. Then the Lord said to Moses, Go to Pharaoh and said to him, This is what the Lord says. Let my people go so that they may worship me. If you refuse to let them go, I will plague your whole country with frogs. The Nile will teem with frogs. They will come up into your palace and your bedroom, and onto your bed, into the houses of your officials, and on your people, and into your ovens and kneading troughs. The frogs will go up on you and your people and all your officials. Then the Lord said to Moses, Tell Aaron, stretch out your hands with your staff over the streams and canals and ponds, and make frogs come up on the lands of Egypt. So Aaron stretched out his hands over the waters of Egypt, and the frogs came up and covered the land. But the magicians did the same things by their secret arts. They also made frogs come up on the land of Egypt. Pharaoh summoned Moses and Aaron and said, Pray to the Lord to take the frogs away from me and my people, and I will let your people go to offer sacrifice to the Lord. Moses said to the Pharaoh, I leave to you the honor of setting the time for me to pray through you and your officials and your people, that you and your houses may be rid of the frogs, except for those that remain in the Nile. Tomorrow, Pharaoh said. Moses replied, It will be as you say, so that you may know there is no one like the Lord our God. The frogs will leave you and your houses, your officials, and your people. They will remain only in the Nile. After Moses and Aaron left Pharaoh, Moses cried out to the Lord about the frogs that he had brought on Pharaoh. And the Lord did what Moses asked. The frogs died in the houses, in the courtyard, and in the fields. They were piled into heaps, and the land reeked of them. But when Pharaoh saw that there was relief, he hardened his heart and would not listen to Moses and Aaron, just as the Lord had said. Then the Lord said to Moses, Tell Aaron, stretch out your staff and strike the dust of the ground, and throughout the land of Egypt the dust will become nets. They did this, and when Aaron stretched out his hands with the staff and struck the dust of the ground, nets came up, men and animals. All the dust struck out the land of Egypt became nets. But when the magicians tried to produce nets by their secret arts, they could not. And the nets were on men and animals. The magician said to Pharaoh, This is the finger of God. But Pharaoh's heart was hard, and he would not listen, just as the Lord had said. Then the Lord said to Moses, Get early in the morning and confront Pharaoh as he goes to the water, and said to him, This is what the Lord says, Let my people go, so that they may worship me. If you do not let my people go, I will send swarms of fires on you and your officials, on your people, and into your houses. The houses of Egyptians will be full of fires, and even the ground where they are. But on that day I will deal differently with the land of Goshen, where my people live. No swarms of fires will be there, so that they will know that I, the Lord, am in this land. I will make a distinction between my people and your people. These miracle signs will occur tomorrow. And the Lord did this. Then swarms of fires poured into Pharaoh's palace and into the houses of his officials. And throughout Egypt the land was ruined by the fires. Then Pharaoh summoned Moses and Aaron and said, go sacrifice to your God here in the land. But Moses said, that would not be right. The sacrifice we offer the Lord our God would be detestable to the Egyptian. And if we offer sacrifice that were distasteful in their eyes, will they not stone us? We must take the 3 days journey into the desert to offer sacrifice to the Lord our God, as he commands us. Pharaoh said, I will let you go to offer sacrifice to the Lord your God in the desert, but you must not go very far. Now pray for me. Moses answered, as soon as I leave you, I will pray to the Lord, and tomorrow the fires will leave Pharaoh and his officials and his people. Only be sure that Pharaoh does not act deceitfully again by letting the people go to offer sacrifice to the Lord. Then Moses left Pharaoh and prayed to the Lord. And the Lord did what Moses asked. The fires left Pharaoh and his officials and his people, not a fly remained. But this time also Pharaoh hardened his heart and would not let the people go. Exodus chapter 8, verses 1 through 32. Thank you. Hello, everybody. Nice to meet you. Our reading was about Exodus chapter 9. Let's read it together. Then the Lord said to Moses, go to Pharaoh and say to him, this is what the Lord, the God of Hebrews says, let my people go so that they may worship me. If you refuse to let them go and continue to hold them back, the hands of the Lord will bring a terrible plague on your livestock in the fields, on your horses and donkeys and camels, on your cattle and sheep and goats. But the Lord will make a distinction between the livestock of Israel and that of Egypt, so that no animal belonging to the Israelites will die. The Lord set time and said, tomorrow the Lord will do this in the land. And the next day the Lord did it. All the livestock of Egyptians died, but not one animal belonging to the Israelites died. Pharaoh sent men to investigate and found that not even one of the animals of the Israelites had died. Yet his heart was unyielding, and he would not let the people go. Then the Lord said to Moses and Aaron, take a handful of soot from the furnace and have Moses toss it into the air in the presence of the Pharaoh. It will become fine dust over the whole land of Egypt. The festering boils will break out on man and animals throughout the land. So they took soot from a furnace and stood before Pharaoh. Moses tossed it into the air, and festering boils broke out on men and animals. The nations could not stand before Moses because of the boils that were on them and all the Egyptians. But the Lord hardened Pharaoh's heart, and he would not listen to Moses and Aaron, just as the Lord had said to Moses. Then the Lord said to Moses, get up early in the morning, confront Pharaoh and say to him, this is what the Lord, the God of the Hebrews says, let my people go so that they may worship me. Or this time I will send the full force of my plagues against you and against your officials and your people, so you may know that there is no one like me in all the earth. For by now I would have stretched out my hand and struck you and your people with the plague that would have wiped you off the earth. For I have raised you up for this very purpose, that I might show you my power and that my name might be proclaimed in all the earth. You still set yourself against my people and will let them go. Therefore, at this time tomorrow I will send the worst hailstorm that has ever fallen on Egypt from the day it was founded till now. Give an order now to bring your livestock and everything you have in the field to a place of shelter, because the hail will fall on every man and animal that has not even brought in its fill out in the fields, and they will die. Those officials of Pharaoh who feared the word of the Lord hurried to bring their slaves and their livestock inside. But those who ignored the word of the Lord left their slaves and livestock in the fields. Then the Lord said to Moses, "Stretch out your hand toward the sky so that hail will fall all over Egypt, on men and animals, and on everything growing in the fields of Egypt." When Moses stretched out his staff toward the sky, the Lord sent thunder and hail and lightning flashed down to the ground. So the Lord raised the hail on the land of Egypt. Hail fell and lightning flashed back and forth. It was the worst storm in all the land of Egypt since it had become a nation. Throughout Egypt, hail struck everything in the fields, both men and animals. It fell down everything growing in the fields and stripped every tree. The only place it did not hail was the land of Goshen, where the Israelites were. Then Pharaoh summoned Moses and Aaron. "This time I have sinned," he said to them. "The Lord is in the right, and I and my people are in the wrong. Pray the Lord, for we have had enough thunder and hail. I will let you go. You don't have to stay any longer." Moses replied, "When I have gone out of the city, I will spread out my hands in prayer to the Lord. The thunder will stop and there will be no more hail, so you may know that the earth is the Lord's. But I know that you and your officials still do not fear the Lord God." The flax and barley were destroyed, since the barley had it and the flax were in bloom. Wheat and spelt, however, were not destroyed because they ripened later. Then Moses left Pharaoh and went out of the city. He spread out his hands toward the road. The thunder and hail stopped, and rain no longer fell down on the land. When Pharaoh saw that the rain and hail and thunder had stopped, he sinned against he and his officials, hardened their hearts. So Pharaoh's heart was hard, and he would not let his Israelites go, just as the Lord had said through Moses. Exodus chapter 9, verses 1 to 35. Thank you.